Hey Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and needlework with a little bit of crafting and cross stitch finishing mixed in. I hope everyone has enjoyed their weekend and that is finding a little time to cross a few X's this weekend. I certainly have. I plan to spend the rest of my evening catching up on some of my favorite Flosstubers and crossing a few of those X's. So the past couple of weeks, I shared in my last video that my daughter Chelsea's home after being absent for close to 2 years. It's been great having her home. She's keeping me busy. We've been cooking and visiting with family, and friends have been visiting, and we've done, some shopping, and it's been wonderful. She brings so much joy to the house, as well as her little love child, Ricky. He's up here. He's discovered that I come up here sometimes and stitch, and he loves to come up here and sit on the windowsill and look out the window and people watch. So it's been really nice to have that cat in here with me. It just is company. It's a welcome company. So this week, I haven't gotten as much stitching done with Chelsea home as I would normally, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I just closed out Mania like so many of you, and my goal for Mania was to come out of Mania with no whips, with no works in progress. I didn't quite meet that goal. I did not finish my last start, which was Snowy, let me grab it really quick. Snowy Road Church by Spotswood Crossing. Chelsea came home that last week and I did no stitching. She was my focus, not my stitching. So I'm going to share with you where I was. I did get some progress from my last video. When you last saw it, I just had the dark blue of the sky. So I've added the light blue of the sky, the black on the roof of the church, and some of the snow there. So I don't have that much more to go. Maybe I'll have it finished next weekend, but I'm not going to claim that. I'm just going to make sure it's done by the end of June. But this is the only piece that I come out of Mania with. So didn't quite meet my goal, but I'm happy with my Mania progress. I had 11 starts, 10 finishes. Everything was fully finished with the exception of this piece and my floral pin cup. Everything else was finished, fully finished, stitched. I'm very happy. This has been the best Mania that I've participated in. This is my Mania number 3. I tend to stitch medium to large pieces, which means if I start something in the past, when I started something in Mania, I didn't always have a finish in Mania. And I always come out of Mania with many new whips. So I didn't want to do that this year. So I tried to cater, and this Mania to me, knowing me best, knowing what I like to stitch, I do, like I said, tend to stitch the medium to large, but that doesn't mean I don't buy smalls, because I do, but I don't tend to choose them. When I'm picking out a new project, I pick out a new big, huge, enormous project because those are what I love. And so from this point forward, I am going to reserve Mania for those smalls that I buy during the year. And I will start those smalls and work to finish those smalls each Mania. So Mania 2021 will be a repeat of Mania 2020, and it will once again be a little Mania. So for those of you that's been cheering me on, that's been watching my videos and checking out my Instagram, thank you so much. Mania 2020 was a hit for me. I very much enjoyed it. Coming out, or during Mania, I also continued to work on one of my focus pieces, which was Birds of a Feather by Blackbird Designs. This was a piece that I started in Mania of 2018 with Jen of Jen Stitching Niche. I was hoping to finish it by the end of Mania, but because I did not stitch the last week and a few days of the week prior to that during Mania, it wasn't, you have to stitch to finish something, right? Well, with Chelsea Home. She was my focus, not my focus piece. So I will continue to work on this on Fridays, on Friendship Fridays with Jen, and see if I can't get this completed during the month of June. And here is the cover photo. Now Jen and I are in almost the same spot, and I didn't get a chance. I know she worked on it a little bit, I believe, Friday. I did not work on it at all this Friday. But since you last saw it, I'm still working in the same area. I did finish this limb, the leaves and the flower at the end of this limb. I had started the head of this bird, so I have finished the head, I've stitched the beak, and I've worked down into the body of the bird, and I've finished a little bit more on the border. So the biggest chunk of stitching that's left on this one is going to be the pot that is going to be, that the flower is actually in. I don't really have that much more to do. It is an achievable goal for June, and I think I'm going to work to that because I want to get back to the fall sampler. I'd like to have that finished somewhere soon too, because I'm very much on the home stretch. I think I am in the last third of the pattern, so it's an achievable goal before summer is over as well. As of June 1st, I've shared with you many times, and I'm going to share it one more time. I was hosting a stitch along for the Needleworker sampler by Sue Hillis. There's several stitchers that have joined. We have a Facebook group. I will link it below. We are using a hashtag as well on Instagram. I'll link that below. And we made a start on this on June 1st. So I want to share with you my piece. It calls for a piece of, let me look real quick. Let's see, 28 count cast shell linen platinum. I decided to go with Lugana, which is an even weave. There is pearl cotton and several specialty stitches within this pattern, and I wanted to make sure that my stitches were very even, and also because I stayed with the 28 because there are several buttons and charms within the pattern, and it wouldn't lend to using a higher count of fabric without your having to find different charms, because of course with the higher counts you're going to shrink the size of the squares. This is where I am so far in the piece. I've seen several of the stitchers that are in the Facebook group that have also been posting on Instagram, and we're all keeping up with each other with our stitching, and Sue Hillis is cheering us on. She's given us a few tips in there. With the pearl cotton, it calls for that. There's a banding that goes all the way around these boxes, as well as it's used within some of the specialty stitches inside. And she suggests that you don't substitute DMC for the pearl cotton, and that's because I said that backwards. Don't substitute the DMC for the pearl cotton for you to use the pearl cotton, because with the DMC you would have to use 2 strands, and so as you know, with using 2 strands, they're going to get twisted and that kind of thing, and it's not as an even a stitch as it would be with the pearl cotton, because that's going to be just 1 strand of the pearl cotton. So I'm going to show you a little closer. This is going to be the little pin cushion that we did the thread ring for the stitch along, and there's a couple more, I think 3 more actually, of the spools in here. There's going to be a few buttons here, and Jen of Jen's Stitching Niche has these patterns available to us. I will link her below, as well as Becky Socks for Mom for the little thread keep with the tomato pincushion on it. I'll link that below, as well as Sue Hillis has the charms available, and I'll link her website below. So this piece of Lugana is 28 count, and it is a tea-dyed piece of Lugana. It's been some time since I've stitched on 28 count, and I've noticed a change in my eyes over the past couple of years. I've had to start wearing readers. I've had my eyes checked. He says I'm just great with just the readers, but I find the more I use them, the more I need them. So this piece of 28 count, I typically stitch on 36 to 40 count linens. This even weave has been a welcome blessing, just a break from the strain on my eyes. I am on the computer a good bit at work, and reading is just part of my daily duties at work. So, you know, my eyes, I've been at my job for 20-something years, so my eyes are just showing the strain of my age. It's to be expected. And like I said, it's just been a very welcome change to stitch on that 28 count. Also, I've made a couple of purchases. Because I had been working on the Foxwood Crossing sleds for Mania, I decided to buy a few more. I really enjoyed them. I purchased 6 more sleds, and I bought 3 more patterns. So I'm going to show you those now. This is Quaker sleds. I'm not so sure about those colors, but we all know how the pictures on a pattern cover can be. It is $9.35, or $7.29, $4.98, which we know is a red, $9.37. So you've got the greens and the yellow of the $7.29, and that's not what I picture in my mind when I call those colors out. So I'm not thinking the colors in this are true, but there's that. My favorite of the ones I ordered is the Saltbox sleds. I love the colors in those. I love this house right here the best. And like I said, I don't plan on stitching these anytime soon. I'm just going to have them ready and waiting for Mania 2021. This is Snow Country sleds. So we have another church and a little barn over here, and it looks like a little outhouse or a tiny little red cabin. So I have those. I was also inspired by Shelia of XStitchMD. She's a Flosstuber here. I'll link her below. She also has an Instagram. She showed her start on Owl Forest Embroideries Southern Land. So I downloaded it, and I look forward to stitching on this. It's only 4 colors. The pattern calls for threads by Owl Forest Embroidery, but in the pattern they also give you the DMZ conversion. And when Shelia showed this, I immediately went out to take a look at what the finished piece would be, because she just showed her start, and I just fell in love with it. There's also, I think, a Northern Land as well, but it was the colors in this one that drew me. I think this one will be started within the next year, I'm sure. I just love it that much. I also finally printed out this one. I bought this one when it came out. This is a Hands Across the Sea sampler little gem. This is Sarah Spencer. I bought this one because I just really love the reds. I love the symmetry of it. I love the honeysuckle flower border. Just everything about it. This is just a beautiful little piece. I've seen several of you out there that have finished this up on Instagram, and I've enjoyed watching you stitch it. I don't know when I'll start it, but I have it for when I do get ready to start it. I also purchased this one as well and downloaded and printed this one. This is like a cherry blossom. I saw this one on Instagram. Michelle Farmgirl had shared this in her Insta stories, and this is it here. And I think Yanni Stitcher is working on this now on one of her own hand-dyed fabrics. So if you want to take a look at her, you can find her on Instagram as well. And she's a Flosstuber. So I'll link Yanni below as well. And I think that's everything that I've got going on. I did have a giveaway in my last video, and the winner to that giveaway was Shelia Burton. I've commented on her comment, and I will list her name below. Shelia, if you watch this video before you notice the return comment, just email me your mailing information to my email address. I will link that below as well, and I will get that out into the mail to you sometime this week. This past week, you know, I'm always taking a look at Instagram. I want to see what everyone's up to. I want to be inspired to purchase something new. I want to be inspired to pick up a whip that, you know, I already have started. This week, I wish that I had looked before I started filming the video, but someone posted their patriotic wall, and they had lots of stitching on that wall, but they had other things as well. And one of the things that caught my eye was a patriotic star that was on the wall. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if that stitcher actually crafted it themselves, whether they bought it somewhere. But when I saw it, I said, I can make that. So Chelsea and I have been painting. And on one of our trips to Hobby Lobby to pick up paint, I picked up a few yardsticks. And I tried to imitate what I saw in that Instagram story. So I'm going to share it with you here. So this is it. So the differences between mine and the one on the Instagram is there was also stars down the line of the blue. I tried to freehand paint those. I don't have the right brushes. I just pretty much, other than the yardsticks, and I had to purchase the screws, I used things that I had on hand here at the house. I had the paints. I actually mixed the paints up to make the colors that I wanted, or the shades. I painted them today, and then I cut the yardsticks in half because it takes 6 lengths of the stick. So I bought 6 sticks, and I cut them in half into 18-inch lengths so that Chelsea could make one as well. And we painted them all, and I took mine. After painting them, I sanded them, and then I rubbed them down with brie wax so that it would give it that aged look. And I'm really happy with it. I will go back and put stars because that really makes it pop and helps it to symbolize what I already know that it symbolizes. But I really like this, and I look forward to having this in the kitchen for this upcoming 4th of July holiday. So as you can see, here's my unfinished back. I got them from Hobby Lobby. So this was a really neat. I think at the most it probably took 3 hours. The most tedious part is just the painting, trying to paint the edges. And then, like I said, painting, letting the paint dry, put 2 coats on it. Then I sanded it down really well, and once sanded, I put the brie wax on it, then went back and rubbed down and I really rubbed the brie wax in good, especially in the white, because it was a bright white. And then screwed them together. That took nothing. I just grabbed my husband's drill and screwed those little screws in there. At first I thought I would paint the tops of the screws, and I thought, why? It's folk art. It's a craft. I love it. I love it. So thanks for visiting with me today and sharing with me, and I hope to see all of you again next Sunday with another short little video. Until that time, cross all the X's and find some joy in this coming week. I think we all need a little happiness and a little joy after everything that's been going on. So hugs and stitches, everyone. Bye-bye.